Hey there, happy Wednesday. Welcome to another Planner Perfect podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Penton, and I'm glad you're here. Today, we're going to be talking about the pillars of success, and which is going to be, we're going to be talking about habits, how to create really great habits that act as your pillars for your morning and then again for your evening routines that, if applied and established, will just absolutely change your life for the better. And we're going to really have a fun time diving into this. So where I really got inspired with the pillars is by Robin Sharma, the 5 a.m. Club. And that's actually one of my Planner Perfect Book Club book reads of the month for this month. And you can join us if you'd like over in Project Me on Facebook, which is one of the Planner Perfect groups where we focus on ourselves. And so that book has been really transformative for me in that it inspired me to be more strategic when I wake up in the morning, because I'm not new at rising early and doing some things for me, that's for sure. But he really just fine-tuned it for me. And I'm going to share with you how I took in what he said and really fine-tuned it to be so masterful in being able to even achieve more and being more conscious of my time. And I've looking through what I used to do, there's been many cases where time has truly slipped through my fingers, and you really don't even realize it, of how much time can slip through where it's wasted. When you can be intentional more on your time, you can achieve better results. So as a homeschooling mom of 8, I've always had to and have loved being really strategic with my time in order to involve myself, to care for me, to take time for me. And rising early is one of those ways I can do it. I can wake up before they do, and I can accomplish really great things. I mean, a lot of great things. We're going to talk about my habits that I've been establishing. I was too vague on my morning routine, not including enough, not being concrete enough, not being enough intentful about my time. My time was vague, my time slots. I mean, it was just like from this time to this time, I'm going to do these kind of things. And I was kind of wishy-washy about it, and I would do it or I would scroll through Facebook. I didn't have any rules for myself. And I think that that's what he was really in the book, the 5 a.m. Club really talked about, just really being intentional and keeping yourself accountable to your time in your morning that you have devoted to yourself. So let's go ahead and really dive in. I have written a blog post about this over at plannerperfect.com. And so when I am talking about this today with you all with this podcast, it's really going to be a lot more, there's going to be some more detail on this. And I can't wait to dive in. So he talks about having and establishing these great habits. One of them was the 20-20-20 rule, which I really liked. And it was 20 minutes of movement, 20 minutes of reflection, and 20 minutes of growth. So in moving, he was recommending 20 minutes of moving, getting your body moving and exercising, getting your heart rate up right at 5. I mean, just getting up, getting at it. And it was funny when I first did it, I was like, okay, is that like jumping jacks or like, what exactly does this mean? And this is going to be tough because I normally cozy up with a cup of coffee and don't move for another 3 solid hours. I'm like reading my Bible. I'm just entrenched in myself and me and planning and gratitude and meditation and doing all the feels and the wonderful things. But jumping jacks? Okay, now you're pushing it. Okay, you're pushing it, and you better give me some scientific backup on this, or I'm going to go ahead and forego the jumping jacks right when I open up my eyes, if you don't mind. Okay, so let's go through that. He really recommends getting your body moving. And before, my thought philosophy was, okay, I'll walk for exercise when it's nice out. So that leaves me with spring and fall, okay? Because who wants to walk in the middle of summer and who wants to walk in the snow? So I was really definitely fair weathered when it came to getting exercise. But this really changed my whole mindset. So I've already lost close to 40 pounds being whole food plant-based. And exercise was really something that has always been on my mind, and didn't know for sure how to do it. And so when you don't know how to do something or you feel overwhelmed by something, a lot of times it just kind of gets on the back burner and you don't do nothing at all. And so that's kind of where I was at. I knew that I wanted to, but I kind of just let it go, because when something is so entrenched in your brain and it's a problem, letting it go is probably one of the best things you can do, because then you'll get inspired by something later and it'll be effortless. Well, sure enough, he talks about just the scientific basis of really getting your heart moving in the morning and how it really gets your blood flowing and ready for the day, wakes you up. All of these things. You can read the book to really find out more on some of the science behind really getting your heart moving early in the morning. But so if you can imagine this, so I thought, okay, I'm convinced I'm going to do this too. I need to. So I had this one HIIT program book. I thought I could learn the exercises from a book, and I'd wake up and I'm doing exercises in this back room of mine, my back office. I'm surprised I didn't wake the family up. Just doing jumping jacks on a wood floor. But after about a week of that, I was like, if I'm going to exercise, I think I'm really going to exercise, and I really want to know what I'm doing. So I ended up joining a gym, and I joined Orange Theory. And I love the whole idea behind Orange Theory, because it's a HIIT program where you're really working on core and cardio, and it's for a full hour and they tell you what to do. That's the great part. And then you go home. Okay. So I was like, done. This is what I'm doing from now on. I'm getting up at 5. I work out at 6 until 7. And then I come home. So I established that, and it has been, I don't know, a good 2 to 3 weeks. And it's been one of the best things I have ever implemented in my life. Ever. And I'm 47. Okay. It's just one of the most wonderful things in the world, because no matter the weather, I know I can do it, and I'm held accountable. And if I can't miss it, because you can get charged if you miss. And it's just one of those things that has been so good for me to do. And I really, really encourage you to do the same, whether you do have a program you can do at home or going to the gym and just getting motivated. It helps me to leave the house. I found that I could execute it better if I left the house versus trying to motivate myself or get to it, in my office or something. So that's been really, really amazing. He then talks about, so I'm even going longer than the 20 that he recommends. I'm doing a full hour, and there is drive time for me, but it doesn't matter. I work it into my plan. So then he talks about reflection, which is journaling, meditating, planning, praying, and just reflection. And I love that. So when I get home right away, I do my juicing. I do celery juicing. And if you are interested in more about that, just drop a comment, and maybe that would be a future podcast, but it's been really life-changing and healing autoimmune disease. So it's part of the habits and part of the things I incorporate into my morning. So the next thing I do, though, is Reflect 20 is what I call it. And that's when I sit and I journal in my gratitude journal, and then I meditate for 10 minutes. And what I love about the meditation ritual is that what you're basically doing is, number one, trying to find that still space. What I love about the still space is that's where you can really hear God speak. What I love about the training of really when a thought comes in and removing it and getting back to stillness is that you are training the mind who's boss. And then when you're able to do that, that constant training of you in your brain to be able to control thoughts is so powerful. Meditation is powerful stuff. And if you can make it a practice, a daily practice, to be in control of your thoughts, it's game on. Because our thoughts, as you know, is behind everything that we do. So this is really, really powerful. And I really encourage you to get into the practice. And that is another topic for another time. But meditation has been really great. Even if you start at 5 minutes and work your way up to 20, it'll be amazing. So make it a practice to meditate. And so that's next. So I'll journal. I get into that celery juice and I'll be journaling, and I will meditate. I've been doing 10 minutes for right now. And then I move into my planning. So I open up my Planner Perfect planner, and I just get in there and see what my day is, how my day is, and just tweak it. And I go on for the whole week and look through it. And then prayer, which is amazing, and just prayer, and where I love to confirm what God already says. And that's how I love to pray, is just to confirm, not ask, but to confirm what he says and what his promises are. And then just some reflection. Just reflection and just thinking about things that are positive and amazing. So then it's Grow 20. And so 20 minutes of growth, and that's just reviewing your goals, which is so important. With the Planner Perfect method and how it's set up, that should be very, very easy. Just kind of comb through those goals, adding to, and making sure that you do implement them into your days, pulling them over into your days to execute. And then read books. So that's where you can take, finish off and round out, a good 15 minutes of reading your books, which has been an amazing practice for me. I've always done that, but I've kind of did it sporadically, where now I'm being intentful on my time and making time for it specifically. Also, too, audiobooks and podcasts. I use my drive time to the gym to listen to audio, my favorite audiobooks for learning. And then on the way home, I do my favorite podcasts or more audiobooks. So that's just been a powerhouse of amazing stuff. The next thing that he talks about in his book is the 5 a.m. Club, is really working on your talent. And so painting is one of my gifts that I do have, and I enjoy it very much, and I've done it since I was a little girl, is that I used to put it in little pockets of time that I've had, and whereas I wasn't intentful on the time to put it in. And so I have put it in my morning routine for 1 full hour to make time for my painting. And so I can't do anything else. And if I can't think of anything, if I'm not feeling creative, if I'm not in the right mood, it doesn't matter. I don't allow myself to do anything else. Nothing. I just have to stare at a ceiling then. But I have to just sit. That is my hour for just art. So that means I can't do anything else. And I always end up picking my paintbrush and doing something amazing. And so having that time dedicated just for that is perfect, because working on your gifts is something that we are definitely called to do, and how we can become experts in what God's given us. And so that is something that I make time to do, and has been a game changer for me. So then I take the time for 30 minutes to work on my business. So if kids start waking up or whatever, and of course, whatever season you're in, you just tweak it to what you do to make this yours. But what I'm doing then is, if kids wake up or whatever, it's usually just fine. I get over to I have certain days dedicated to different things that I'm doing. So whether it be my book that I'm writing, my podcast I need to do, my blog, or my YouTube channel, I take 30 minutes to do it. Each day has a different one to execute. So if it's my book writing day, then that's 30 minutes of that. If it's podcast day, same thing. So, and then Social 20, I call it, and my newsletter, I work on those things and with the Planner Perfect team, and we work on what we need to do. So that is my morning, and that is what I do. And it's been so amazing. In the evening, in my routine, I've created a pillar for my evening, and he talks about an evening routine. I love it. One of the things I loved and picked up from his book is that he talks about putting your phone down, like after dinner. Just, you do not touch it until morning. And if you look around the house, everyone who has a phone in this house is on it, and no one's looking at each other. And I thought, I'm doing that. I'm doing it. I put my phone down, and it's done. And I don't look at it. That's the time for my family. That's the time I snuggle with my kids. We watch a movie where it's just us, and it's been really amazing. A good hour before bed, it's taking off my makeup, my pajamas, brushing my teeth for 4 minutes, just taking care of me and getting ready to read a book and do things with the family, getting to bed at a good time so I could rise early, which is around 9:30. I head on back up to bed and getting the kids to bed and things like that. So the evening routine pillar is just as important as the morning. And it's really has been such a foundational habit, creates such a foundational habit so that it becomes automatic. So when you're first writing these pillars of habits for yourself, you can take it from Robin Sharma's book and you can tweak it to how it can best fit you. And it's really just been amazing. The reason too why it's important to establish these different things as habits is because then you begin to identify yourself as this. You become that. So you become someone who exercises. You become someone who juices. You become someone who eats for wellness and health. You become someone who works on their talent. You become, someone who works on their business. So it's so important to be able to identify these things and to know what you want to achieve and to be intentful with your time and to create these as habits so that you can become who you want to be. And so you can act on these things that you want to achieve. And in the beginning, it's going to be tough because with any new goal that you want to achieve, a lot of times you won't want to do it. And I remember getting up and snow was swirling around. It's 5:30 in the morning. I was going to go to the gym. And he's like, when you don't, Robin Sharma was saying in his book, he's like, when you don't want to do something, that is exactly your cue that you are on the right track and that you need to do it because your mind's going to fight you all the way because it's not what you've done before. It's something that is new. And, but it is for your greater good to establish this new habit and to do something that you don't want to do for the goal of what you're wanting in the long term. So the short term, maybe you would rather be covered up in your covers, but for the long term, this is what is best for you. So you always got to really, in the beginning, you're training your brain and you're training your mind to actually do the hard things. Because to be successful in what you're wanting to do, you need to be able to train your mind to be able to do these hard things. And what sets you apart, the people that achieve these greater things, are the people that basically are doing the things that other people don't want to do. And so do those hard things. Get out of your comfort zone. Get out there and do what your mind is telling you don't want to do, but you should do. Do those things. So it will be hard at first, but then, you establish that habit and it's going to be the best thing that you ever did because you will then reap the harvest of all of your hard work and all that you did and all that you pursued and how you were living a life of purpose and intent. The Planner Perfect method is all about being purposeful and living with intent in your life and planning out and mapping out a life that you love with such detail that your mind literally soaks it up and motivates you to act. And the more you write it out, the more you believe yourself. And when you believe something, that's when you act. So the more you can be descriptive and the more you can talk yourself into it and the more you know your whys and the more you have an action plan for what you want to do, then you believe in yourself. You believe in this new plan. You believe that you want to do this and then you internally will be motivated. The more and more you act, the more and more your beliefs and your mind and heart combine together to really form such a great identity in your new foundational habits for a better you, a best version of you. So I hope that has been inspiring to you. I know it has been for me to get your AM and PM pillars in order. Leave some comments below on if you've got some really killer AM routines and how, or maybe that you haven't had any and that this is really going to be amazing for you like it was for me. I had a morning routine, but it wasn't strict enough. I wasn't identifying enough with my time and how best use of my time that was so valuable. And when you can take the time to use your morning as your catalyst for the day, that's where you win, because your motivation is at its highest when your feet hit the floor. You are at high motivation right there. High motivation. You are more apt to do these things that you set out to do than, let's say, working out at 7 at night when you're ready to wind down for the night. So work on all of these things when your motivation is the highest and you don't have any outside influences for even distraction or pulling you away from what you're setting yourself up to do. So being intentful with my time in the early morning was one of the best things I could have ever done, as well as exercise. It has given me energy. I can feel myself getting stronger. I can feel myself getting thinner and leaner. And I'm just in love with my new plan. If you're not a part of my Planner Perfect community, I inspire you to do so. It's over at just Facebook, Planner Perfect. I have my groups, Project Me, and my Planner Perfect group, as well as just my Planner Perfect page. But I'll be sharing more over there, as well as my pages and even IG and YouTube. So be sure to follow me over there for some more information on getting your AM and PM pillars established. Until next time, you guys.